If you've been around From Software games long enough, you've probably seen people who do no-hit runs and have been inspired to do it yourself, but it can be intimidating to start one of these challenges. The point of this video is to provide a relatively condensed overview of a route that is friendly to players new to hitless running, particularly for Bloodborne. I'm not going to do in-depth boss breakdowns. Moonlight Ghost has a wonderful guide that I'll link in the description that will do a far better job at that than I could. But I will try to explain how I do things, why I do them, and try to provide alternatives where possible. Remember, there is no one-size-fits-all for hitless running. This route is the culmination of strategies developed by the community and utilized by me in my own runs, but there are plenty of other ways to do aspects of this run that I'll try to point out. This is designed for comfortability, not speed, and ultimately, if you find something that makes more sense for you, please adapt the run as you feel necessary. And with that, let's get started. So to start the game, you have to make your name G. Not really, but it is the fastest way to name the character because that's where the keyboard starts. We pick Military Veteran as our starting class because it gives the highest amount of strength and skill as well as a generous amount of stamina. So you see on my controller that I'm spamming start. That will skip the beginning animation, which really is just a time save. We immediately start running and open the door. You can just run down the stairs here. So about at this table is where I stop running to regain stamina, and then we run. We stop directly at this table at this corner right here before the wolf, and we hold down L2 in order to charge up our left fist. This stops you from running and also stops you from getting a running R2 attack. It's a lot more consistent if you do a charging L2 in order to backstab this wolf. And then we take the visceral. I always grab the blood vials that he drops. Sometimes it'll be a shard, but that's okay. I will show you how to get some extra early bullets. So we pick up these 10, and then we open this gate. Now from here, there's going to be an enemy patrolling by a nearby wagon. There's a couple ways to deal with this. First, I'll show you how to run behind him and backstab him. Now, it's important whenever you see this guy, sometimes he can instantly attack you, as he sort of does here. Normally, he'll do his overhead axe swing, but he can sometimes do other moves as well. So the idea is you get behind him, you backstab, reposition yourself, take the visceral, and he's dead. Now, sometimes that'll take a little bit of practice. You'll probably mess up a little bit. If you don't want to do that, all you have to do is run past him and go to the lever. Now, what I do is I grab these vials. Sometimes he'll run up to you, but this time he decided to wait a little bit. Just go to the lever, wait for him to attack and roll away. Walk over to these other guys, roll through the box, grab the Molotovs, and then we run back, kind of hugging the railing around the guys, and then run to that ladder as quickly as possible. 9 times out of 10, the guys won't attack you. They won't be able to hit you. Very rarely you'll be able to, get hit. They'll follow you really closely. Then we go to the dream, grab the lamp. A majority of your hits early on when you start are going to come from Central Yharnam. It's going to be a heavy reset area. Just understand that that's fairly common and is going to happen. So we grab the cleaver here. In order to do the trick to get extra bullets, we don't grab the gun yet. Instead, we go to storage, put the bullets that we had grabbed away, then grab the gun, which gives you 10 bullets. Go back to storage and grab the 10 that we had placed in. Now we have a full set of 20. I equip all of my stuff, the cleaver, the gun, and the Molotovs before heading back. and we go back to Central Yharnam. Okay, so from here, we run through, we drop off this railing. I lock on here and dash. You don't have to do that. It's a speed thing. We grab these Molotovs, and then we run through here. Now, here's important. Where I run and regen stamina is very consistent pathing, but I do it the same every single time, and that just comes through repetition. So I stop at the bottom of these stairs to regen stamina, and I start running again next to this coffin. I go around these guys, kind of just looping around them. I stop running and regen stamina and continue running at this box. Do a couple loops around. This gunman on the right can sometimes see you and shoot at you, but we're going to carefully path ourselves so that he doesn't hit us. Here it is again, slow motion. And like I said, where I regen stamina is important. So I always stop at this lamppost and walk to the right. As long as you're walking in a diagonal, you'll strafe the gunshot. And then I run on the left side here and try to hug these like sacks or boxes. Sometimes the gunman can shoot at you. If you're uncomfortable, just keep walking in a diagonal like I said, or you can turn your camera around, whatever is more comfortable for you. But that pathing is very consistent. Now, we extend the cleaver and we do a tap R2 to kill these first two birds. And then you can just shoot the last one. You can also throw a Molotov. You can hit them with the cleaver. But really what we're trying to grab is these oil urns. So then we run back over here. There's 4 Molotovs over here. You can skip these. It will save you a little bit of money just grabbing the extra ones. And then we run back, roll through those boxes, and then we continue running. I like to regen stamina next to the dog, but this isn't too specific. And then we go up here in the rafters, breaking all the boxes. We're going to talk to Eileen in order to get 4 Bolt Hunters marks. It should be enough for the any %. This is so that we can mark out and save a little bit of time while also keeping our money. And then we drop off here. I try to drop onto this sort of lift machine and then roll off immediately. Not too specific, but there is a gunman on the right there that you have to watch out for. Never been hit to him before, but that's not to say it can't happen. Now from here, we're going to walk around these sacks on the right side. You can run, but it's not necessary. If you fall down, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can save it later. We walk up, tap R2 again. I roll just in case I missed, then grab these other oil urns. So I'm going to show you how to use the music box and stair cheese strat for Father Gascoigne. So we do go up this ladder. Now, because we're going up the ladder, there are some sewer witches that we'll have to deal with later. Their position is going to change. But for right now, we just slow walk up to this troll, backstab, and do another charge R2 to kill him. Up the ladder, and we're going to talk to the little girl in order to retrieve the music box. And then I fall down before clearing the music box. That just stops her from talking more. So here, you can take the ladder or you can do this drop that I'm about to do. After this first drop, if you had fallen down earlier, you can go grab the oil urns now and kill the birds. But instead, we're going to roll to the right and keep going through the sewers. So here you want to shoot this first one a few times. How much depends on where they're sitting, but you really just want to clump them all together and then throw a couple Molotovs. If you want to throw an extra one to kill that third guy, you can. Once you get to this tunnel, is just run to behind the pig. Charge R2 backstab, take the visceral, and then charge R2 a little bit while moving forward. And you should hit him. We'll pick up this badge that allows us to buy throwing knives and blood pungents. And then we grab the cold blood as well. Up this long ladder. We're not going to mess with any of the guys here. We're just going to run straight to Gascoigne. Don't try to linger in front of the boss room too much. Sometimes either the troll will follow you or one of the wolfmen that's nearby. Try to have everything set up by the time that you're going up the ladder. So once we start the boss fight, we head over to this tree. If Gascoigne decides to shoot, I always roll. The whole time I'm walking into the corner between the tree and the tombstones. Once he closes the distance and tries to attack the tree, I walk away and use the music box immediately. Gascoigne's going to take a couple steps back in order to try to reorient himself towards you. All you need to do is try to get to his back, backstab, take the visceral, and then we want to run away and towards the stairs. Once we're at the top of the stairs, I like to hang around on the left side of the lamp and then roll in case he does gunshots. Once he gets to the corner, I go to the right side of the lamp and use the music box. Again, he's going to reorient himself. We get behind, backstab, take the visceral, and then we're going to run down to the bottom of the stairs and to the side to get him stuck.
Oh, it sings to me.
And then we use the music box a third time. This will force him to transform into his beast form. His explosion here, the transition, does count as a hit. It's a stagger that kind of pushes you away. So you want to make sure that you're not too close to the stairs when this happens. Once he does it though, we walk back up to the side. And then instead of being on the right, that can sometimes get us hit depending on what move he decides to do. We go to the left side. And then you just walk into the corner of the pillar, angle your camera all the way up, throw an oil urn, and then Molotov. Repeat this until he's dead. Try to hit the Molotov while he's attacking. That will give you counter damage and deal more. So once he's dead, we can just run up the stairs. There is a gem to the left on the red brooch. We don't need it for this run, but if you want the little extra damage, you can grab that here. Instead, we just run to Cathedral Ward. At the top of this ladder, there is a chest that contains the workshop tool that allows us to put blood gems on the cleaver. Please grab this. Alright, so heading into Cathedral Ward, there's a couple ways to deal with this. The route that we're going to take is going to be +3 for Amelia. I'm going to show you how to run through Cathedral Ward 2 different ways in order to grab the necessary blood shards. The first way, we're just going to run through. We go to the right, grabbing the Hunter's Garb. This provides the highest amount of beasthood out of any early armors and most of the armors in the game. So this will help us with our beast meter later. You can walk this entire set of stairs. The guy will point at you as long as you're walking. Then we grab the stone shard. This guy has several moves. All you have to do is walk to his left, roll if you kind of get caught on something or he attacks immediately. Once he finishes his attack, you can keep walking down the stairs. All right, so now here it is again, but instead we're going to kill the guys. I like to stop about this distance away from them. Often they'll point, but if they don't, all you need to do is wait for them to move. The second you see any amount of movement, you can parry and then take the visceral Once they get up, you R1 them and they should be dead. So here he points. I shoot just in case. And then dead. Now we are free to grab the Hunter's Garb. It's pretty leisurely here. We're under no time constraints from enemies being aggroed to us. I like to chill out here in this little alcove and wait for the giant. He'll eventually turn around and then you're free to pick up the shards like earlier and proceed down the stairs. And once we're down the stairs, we head over to the right into this little corner and wait for this troll to pass by. Once he stops moving, we're free to run. You can also just run past him. He'll get stuck on a bench, but this way you don't have to worry about it at all. We run to the right of this crow, grab the shards. We go to this railing and we can walk between the railing and the fence. As long as you walk here and don't run while hugging the railing, the troll will not wake up. We grab the shards, throw a Molotov in order to kill this beast, grab the other shards, and then we mark back to the lamp. From here, we're going to run to old Yharnam. And pick up these blood vials. Not necessary, but I picked them up just in case. I hug the left side of the stairs and then walk up here. So we're going to throw a Molotov in order to kill this dog that's patrolling. He's the biggest threat because, as many people know, dogs in FromSoft games are very annoying to deal with. In order to hit the dog with the Molotov, I stop and angle my head so that it is in line with this sort of doorway and arch that's in the building in front of us, and then just walk forward, angling my camera up, throw the Molotov. Sometimes it'll hit the dude with the torch and he'll aggro to you. He's relatively straightforward to deal with. Then we run to the side. I grab the Molotovs and the cold blood here. And then we run back. As long as we hang left and on the railing, nobody should aggro to us. Now we go up these stairs. We only go to the top of the first flight and then back down into the side. There are two dogs that are going to come down. We get them stuck against the railing and then throw a Molotov. You can also extend the cleaver and attack them with an R2 or R1. I strafe this gunshot. 2 R1s, L1 kills this gunman. You can also just run past that gunman and straight to the door, but sometimes it looks a little scary, and for ease, I just kill him. Then we go talk to Alfred. This will be our first buff of the run. We just cooperate with him, wait until he gives you the fire papers, and then we can run away. Activate the lever. And then as I run off, I grab this Madman's Knowledge. It's not necessary, but I will grab some extra Madman's Knowledge in case you want some extra insight for later. We run here. I stop about here, and once you're at the door, keep running. You want straight line to the bottom of these stairs and then hook a quick right. And then we go to the right side of the room, grab these pungents. I wait here and equip the pungents in case the wolf decided to come down and follow us, and I always grab this lamp just in case. Because sometimes he follows us down, sometimes he doesn't, and I've even had times where it looked like the coast was clear. I go to the door and he's behind me. So here we're going to throw a Molotov in order to kill this beast. This is about when I throw the Molotov a little bit before the top of the stairs, so that by the time I hit the stair, the Molotov has come out. Takes a little bit of timing, but you'll get used to it. And if not, the beast just falls down and straightforward to get back up. We do a +0 blood-starved beast. If you want, you can go back to the dream now and get a +3 in order to just melt through blood-starved beast. It's a little bit of a time sink and is not really necessary, but if you have issues with that boss, feel free to do that. And then we can come back here.
You there? Hunter.
Throw a Molotov.
Did you see the warning?
And then we run. I like to regen my stamina at the bottom of this first set.
Burned and abandoned by men.
We want to roll this guy on the right. You can roll pretty early. In fact, I would recommend doing so. As long as you are to the side of him, by the end of your roll, you're perfectly safe.
You are a skilled hunter.
And then we run off the edge here. We're aiming for this column. And then we're going to roll left and roll again when we land. That way we don't get shot by Jura's Gatling gun. And then just keep running forward. As long as you keep, pedal to the metal, Jura's assistant's not going to attack you. I pick up this cold blood here. And then you want to throw a pungent for the dudes below. You can throw it to the right into the wall, or what I like to do is throw it into the middle of the room. That way when we jump here, there aren't a bunch of dudes around us. Grab these ritual bloods for a little extra echoes that we can get. So here a bunch of beastmen are going to start waking up. We throw a blood pungent at this corner on the column and then run to the left and pick up more pungents. We throw another pungent at this wall. Try to aim it high. That will distract that guy. And then from here, there's two ways of going through this. The first way is just running through. So there's a guy up on the wall, but we just run, grab the beast blood pellets, run back. As long as you run around him to the right, he shouldn't really follow you and should be safe. But if you want a little bit of cushion, check to make sure that the wolf from earlier on the bridge didn't follow you. And then you can look up, shoot him, immediately charge R2 for a backstab, and then a visceral. Sometimes he drops an extra pellet, so I always pick up whatever he drops. And then we're free to continue on like before. A wolf is going to jump out of this door, but as long as you stay left, you're fine. And then I stop running at this corner here and walk until the second cage. You want to look back because a wolf can follow you like it did here. There are bold hunter's marks on the right, so if the wolf didn't follow you, it's safe to pick up. If he did follow you, don't pick it up. It's not necessary for the run. It's just a little extra cushion. Continue running towards Bloodstarved Beast. Now from here, we equip the Beast Blood pellets. We're only going to use one pellet. We want to get a little close before using it. And then it's just going to be charge R2s. It's backstab, charge R2. After you get the second charge R2, you walk away. I like to walk away from Bloodstarved Beast because sometimes she will instantly do an attack after recovery. And so that ensures that you're away from her. It has 2 transition points. You'll get a feeling for when they're going to happen, but it's a free backstab into a charge R2 when that does happen. And the second one takes longer, so it's a little bit more lenient in time. Like I said, generally you just want to backstab, charge R2, walk away a little bit, see if she gives another thing to punish. Then once she's dead, we return to the dream. So this is when we're going to upgrade our cleaver, level up a little bit, grab some materials. Immediately go grab the Molotovs, pick up pungent, spending all of our insight, and then we're gonna go sell the extra things that we picked up and don't need anymore. So ritual bloods, armor from the beginning of the game, and buy Molotovs, as well as 15 throwing knives. 15 should be enough. You can get away with 10, but I would recommend the 15. We're going to use those later in Forbidden Woods.
Hello, and it very well.
So here I almost forgot to upgrade the cleaver. I had leveled up to 22 strength, as you can see. Pop the cold blood to make sure I have enough. And here we get a +3. You should always upgrade your cleaver first and then level up with whatever echoes you have remaining. If you grabbed all of the items that I did and killed all the things I did, you should consistently get somewhere in the 20 to 22 strength. So from here in Cathedral Ward, the door on the right should be open now. After Bloodstar Beast, we're going to go through the healing workshop. So at the top of this elevator, you need to run immediately because the gunman in this room is already aggroed to you. Then you hug left to stop this guy from blocking your path. He will always orient himself on the left side of the stairs here. Just run around him. And we go on the left side. I regen stamina. And then there's this beast here. I let the beast run a little bit. And then once I'm past this pillar, I face my character towards the beast and lock on while throwing the Molotov to ensure that the Molotov always is going towards him. We drop down. Here, you use the gesture point forward in order to force your character to slow walk off this edge. I like to heal. You can just drop down, but I always like the safety heal here. Open the door. We're going into the abandoned workshop in order to grab the doll set, which we're going to sell for echoes. I like to heal again as well. And then I run up the stairs to get this little animation cancel. It's not necessary. It saves you 2 seconds. But we grab the doll set and the old hunter bone, which we're also going to sell. And if you need more insight, there's an umbilical cord up there, which will give you 3 insight. But we run back. Take these drops. Make sure you don't fall on that pile of boxes. That will wake up the beast-possessed soul that's down here. So just make sure you stay clear of those and you can run straight to the door, open it. He'll turn around every time. From here, we run to the stairs. I regen stamina on the stairs, and then at the bottom of them, we start running. You can just run past this dog if you stay on his right side, but I like to throw a pungent here at the corner and then run on his left, because sometimes he will instantly attack towards the pungent. You don't want to run in front of him. Now we go on the elevator. Grab the cold blood there. Grab this other cold blood. And then after picking up this cold blood, these guys should be on the stairs. So when you run past them, it will aggro to them while we grab the lever. This stops them from doing a big circle around on the stairs. And we run back, grab another cold blood. Now the big giant should be down the stairs. We don't have to worry about him, and we can just run right up this middle. Both of these guys will either point or can instantly attack, but it doesn't really matter. As long as you run straight to the door, you're perfectly safe, and then spam roll to make sure that guy doesn't hit you. As long as you're spamming roll, never been hit before. Now we equip fire paper and our beast blood pellet. We fire paper at the very beginning before entering the fight, but we hold off on the pellet. Run forward at this crack. We take the pellet, R1, L1, and then re-transform the weapon and position ourselves at Amelia's right leg, your left. You want to be in front of her leg. You don't want to go to the side because sometimes the hitboxes will be weird and you can accidentally hit a different part of her body. You want to make sure that you're breaking this leg. R1, 3 L1s. Then we go for a visceral. Go to her right. R1 should stagger her, and then L1 3 times again. Back to the front. And then we charge R2. Once your character has sort of stood up and recovered from the visceral, and then I like to get in a cheeky L1 there. Not necessary. And then we just walk up R1 L1 until dead. Try to break her other arm if you can. Here it is again in full speed. And after she's dead, we just grab the skull to make it nighttime. I change all of my items in order to be the Molotov and Pungent that we'll use through woods. And we just run. I just run down the middle. At the bottom of these stairs, I usually regen my stamina. And then we're going to go on the left side just because of enemy placement. The way that we did this, I prefer going on the left here. There shouldn't be any enemies. And we just wait for these guys on the stairs to be going back up. There's a bunch of insight in this courtyard if you need it, but not necessary. On the right here, there is a bird and a brain sucker, as well as 2 shards. You can throw Molotovs in order to kill both of those guys and grab the shards if you want, but for speed's sake, we'll just run to woods. At this altar is a blood gem, the first one that we're grabbing. Shout out password guy. If you talk to him, he gives you a Madman's knowledge. You can roll and to cancel that hard fall, but I don't get it every time. We go around here to grab this cold blood 6. And then after this fall, I roll to the right, grab this shard, and then you can just run down here and roll past the Beastman, but I like to sit and wait on this little outlook, and then once the Beastman goes past this item, you're free to walk off. You don't have to slow walk, I just do that because I'm used to no damage. grab the lamp. And then there's a bird over by these tombstones. I like to kill him with a Molotov. All you need to do is orient your character, the camera, towards the tombstones and then walk forward. Then you can throw the Molotov and it should land on the tombstones and kill him. For this guy on the bridge, you can aggro him and just fight him with some R1s, but the safe thing to do is throw 2 Molotovs and then shoot him a couple times. He'll die. This gunman, you can strafe the gunshot or roll it. To strafe it, you just need to be running in a diagonal just like the same gunman earlier in central Yharnam. And then I like to grab this twin shard here. There's lots of ways through woods with lots of different shards. I'm going to grab a couple extras, so feel free to cherry pick which ones you want to grab. Throw a pungent here. Now, from this drop, there's a guy on your left. If you walk off instead of running off and you just wait a second, he shouldn't ever aggro, but it's good to be aware that it's possible. We go to the right in order to kill this beast and get 3 shards. And then I equip my pungents again. Throw it against this tree to distract this beast man. And these pellets aren't necessary for any percent, but I like the extra cushion. Grab this cold blood. Both of the beastmen that we passed, you can charge R2 and then visceral and they should die. We run up here. We killed the 4 dogs in the cages because once we go into the hut, they will aggro, and we need to go into the hut because it's blue elixirs, which is going to help us in several points in the run. We're actually going to use one almost immediately to get through this area. I grab these bullets, and then in this hut is extra pellets. You can grab it through the wall, then equip blue elixirs. We use one immediately, run past the gunman and the beastman on the left side. There's a couple ways to run past this group of enemies. You can go on the inside between these 2 here and then around, or you can go on the outside around all 3 of them. Both are safe. Just make sure that you don't get too close to that fire. And then from here, we get into the oil river. We're going to throw a Molotov in order to kill the 2 witches that are in front of us. The one on the right is more important to kill. I like to throw the Molotov around where this tombstone is. There's a lot of different visual indicators for when to throw this. I like to use the tombstone on the left. You can also use the jug on the right, or just relative distance to the witches. You can get 2 Molotov throws off and be safe. After the second one, the guys above you are going to start throwing Molotovs at you, so you need to just run. We go up this rock. You want to be running into the wall and then up around. There's another witch on your left. You can run past it, but sometimes it will attack you. And then we just slow walk here, sneak up on the beast, backstab, visceral. Sometimes he'll drop twin shards, and then we pick up those twin shards that are always there. Come back over here to this tunnel to grab the shards. Open a shortcut that also has access to pungents. And then we run back. Now, sometimes there can very rarely be an enemy patrolling, but if you did this the way that I did, he shouldn't really be there. Now it's the dreaded cannon. I start running at this rock, and then I run straight to the left side at this hut. Sometimes the cannon will do a short cannonball shot. Be aware when that happens, you just need to get into this little alcove on the left and wait until the fire completely disperses because it has a lingering hitbox. But we should be free to just run through. Do not take an elixir there. It will not help you. So we're gonna drop down and try to get poison knives as well as the cannon. There's two ways to do this. The first way I'm gonna show you is knocking off the beastmen. You throw a pungent at this opening in the railing. Beastman will walk up and then R1, L1 to knock him off. The L1 is what staggers him and pushes him over the edge. Sometimes he'll just walk off by himself, and that's the ideal scenario. The other way to deal with this is to walk up, throw a pungent at this corner. The higher you aim it, the better. And then immediately run to the ladder. He'll aggro to the pungent. Usually you'll be quick enough to where he doesn't follow you up the ladder, but sometimes he can, like he did in this case. Just want to run through, grab this first set of poison knives, and then come out here to grab the other set of poison knives. Now the Beastman, he followed us up the ladder, which means he can sometimes be up here and aggro to us again, which he did this time. I just come back out, throw a pungent. He wasn't immediately there, so I throw a second one just in case. And now we're free to run. I drop down here to grab the cannon. We're going to sell it, but if you want to use it, feel free. And this is why we grabbed the throwing knives earlier. I don't like to dodge past this snake man. I like to kill him with throwing knives. 10 should kill him if you haven't leveled your skill yet. But we grabbed extras because he's a strafe god and should no hit run himself. There we go. We kill him. Go grab the shortcut. I use this time on the elevator to pop a couple cold bloods. Now, because we killed the crow earlier, this is safe to just open and then walk away. If you did not kill the crow at the beginning of woods, you need to roll here because he can attack at that doorway. But we run back down the elevator. I check how many shards I have. Again, I grab extra shards here. So you can cherry pick which ones you want to grab. You should end up with 2 extra if you followed along. Grab this Cold Blood 7 here. And then the way that I'm going to go is to the left. Kind of along this cliff face. Just don't get too close to any of the snakes. Grab this twin shard. Drop off over here to this tree. Grab 2 more. Then we're going to do a big loop around. You can also go over to the right. Or come to the left here. Like I said, as long as you don't get too close to any of the snakes, should be all fine. And then we mark out. And now it is time to do our final upgrade and level up before Shadows of Yharnam. I always upgrade my cleaver first because you want to make sure that you have the money to do so. Should be a +6, and we have that blood gem that we grabbed before. I use my insight to grab a couple extra pungents. You can make sure that you have you know, a stock of 10. And then I sell some of the items that we picked up. I have extra stone shards. You can sell those if you want. Sell the cannon, doll's clothes. And then I buy Molotovs until I have 10. Pop the cold bloods, and then we level up. If you've been following along, picked up everything, killed all the enemies I did, you should be able to get about 25 strength and 25 skill. Prioritize strength because it's what the cleaver primarily scales with. 25 is the first soft cap for strength and skill. First, we get 25 strength. After that, we want to level up our skill until that gets to 25 and hits the soft cap. And then from there, we're just going to put all of our levels into strength. Typically, if you grabbed less cold bloods than I did, or you didn't sell the cannon, you'll be sitting somewhere around 25 strength and 20 skill. That's the minimum that you should be trying to get. Alright, so now it's just running to shadows. All you have to do is follow the road. Make sure that you don't get too close to any of the snakes. This snake man in the middle, he will always transform, so you can just run right past him. Try to regen your stamina and have full stamina next to this tombstone. Once you start running, there are a bunch of snakes here. Just run straight through them. Make sure to not stop and you should be okay. And then from here, we're going to keep on the road straight ahead. And we're going to take a drop off. Look at this lamp. Go around. And then right off the edge, it's perfectly safe. So we land here. Now you can see off to the right is a pig that has not activated yet. Once we move forward, he'll start his walk. And we want to make sure that he's not body blocking us. So I like to wait until he's about next to this campfire. And then I run straight through. Could never hit you. Sometimes he can follow you pretty closely. But if you waited as long as I did, it'd be perfectly safe. We run straight to shadows. I take a pellet to start. Run up, and you want to stop on this pile of bones. Charge R2 to open, and then I roll backwards. There's a couple ways that you can start out shadows. I'm not going to go super in-depth into shadows. It's a very complicated fight. It is usually the wall for people, and why Bloodborne is very inconsistent for a lot of folks. Generally speaking, you can strafe a lot of things as long as you remain patient. Try to pick your shots. Some general advice I would say is try to always have all three shadows in your view, or at least understand where they are and what they are doing. Roll the fireballs if you need to. If you really want to be safe, you can bait Katana Shadow and only attack his run forward slash move. The main advantage is it ensures that he's always by himself, right? So you don't want to attack when all the shadows are clumped together unless you really know what you're doing. So you can play shadows like a waiting game. As long as you aren't close to any of them, you're in relative safety and you can just wait. Some moves you can parry. parry into a visceral is a valid strat that some people do. And if you really want to bait out Katana Shadow's lunge move that he just did, you can shoot a gun and that will force the shadows to typically dash to the side, and then Katana Shadow will follow that up with the rush move. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to get Katana Shadow and Fireball Shadow to a little bit higher than 30% HP, because that's where the transition HP threshold is. And we want to get both of their HP down low, so once they transform, we can just kind of blast them and not have to deal with phase 2 or 3 all that long. Which shadow you kill first, whether that's Fireball or Katana, is kind of up to you. They all have their advantages and disadvantages depending on your comfortability, which moveset you like to deal with more. On leveled, it's perfectly okay to kill either one of them. You deal more than enough damage to kill Katana, but on BL4, unless you get Bolt Paper earlier, it's unlikely that you're going to kill Katana before they all activate. So here, after this last attack, I made it to the HP threshold where one more attack would push them over to the transition HP. You can see on the health bar, there's a little notch in the HP bar that you can kind of use as guidance for where that threshold is. Roughly, it is somewhere around this point. You'll have to get a feel for where it is, but we fully buff with Fire Paper and Pellet. Try to make sure that Katana is by himself a little bit. R1, L1. I hit Candle Shadow here as he's transforming in order to make him sidestep. This delays his transformation a little bit and gives us a little extra time. And then we just blast Fireball. We shoot at Candle in order to make him jump to the side as we move forward and close distance towards him. We're trying to get him into this loop. So once we R1 him, he will just keep jumping to the side, and you can loop that for theoretically ever. But with shadows down, now we run on to Byrgenwerth. There's a couple ways to deal with this bug. I attack him here. You can just run in front of him and aggro, but what we're going to do is run back to the Shadows Arena, and ideally this bug has followed us. And then from here, kind of leashes. So we can attack him. You can throw Molotovs. You can hit him with the extended cleaver. While he's backing up, you can even just walk up and R1 him to death. But he can't attack, so just be aware of that. And after the nerves of getting through Shadows hitless, most people, they don't want a chance getting hit by the bugs. So I use blood bullets, shoot both of these bugs to get them to come to the edge here, and then we charge R2 them. After a charge R2, we back up so they don't hit us, and we just repeat that until they die. Sometimes they'll drop bullets, so I always pick those up. Now running through Byrgenwerth is relatively simple. There's some bugs that are going to drop down here, but we just keep running. You can grab this shortcut, but not necessary. We just run through here. We step on the first step of the stairs to activate Yuri up there. And then I like to come grab this door and wait outside. Some people like to wait underneath the stairs, but I find that this gives more visibility for Yuri, as well as makes for an easier run back if we have to mark out of ROM. So from here, we can clearly see Yuri. We set up all of our buffs and items for ROM. Once you see her towards the top of the stairs, you can start going up yourself. And once she stops, you can just run. She's not going to aggro to you or hear you. We go up the ladder. Now, sometimes, depending on how you run through, you can accidentally activate Yuri. When that happens, don't panic too much. You can just do a big loop around and go up the stairs. Now, in this case, when I go up the stairs and start going up the ladder, she kind of went to the position that she would be normally. And so it was okay for me to drop down. But if you want to be extra safe, just mark out here after grabbing the key. So I grab the key, drop down, and then run to the entrance. You can talk to Willem for extra 2 insights, and then run into the water. We shoot at ROM in order to activate her. This forces the spiders to come down. All of the spiders should be 2 R1s from death. If they do the big dive bomb attack, they'll die in 1 hit. Generally, all you need to do is keep walking clockwise around the arena and wait for a chance for one of the spiders to aggro to you, kind of isolate themselves, and free themselves up for an attack. This is a patience fight. Most people will get hit here from being too aggressive. And another tip that I can give you is when I'm attacking a spider, I know that they are going to stagger. They're relatively safe. I am not looking at the current spider I'm attacking. I am looking at the other spiders around to see if any of them aggroed to me. They're only going to attack you if they're looking at you. So that's kind of a good indication to see if one of the spiders is a threat. And most of these spiders I deal with without even rolling a single time. Until then. The spit is probably one of the worst attacks because its hitbox is really weird. Also the butt web. So here we take off our cleaver, we eat a pellet, and then we're gonna R2 Rom's head. So I don't fill up the meter entirely. I only fill it up like 3/4 of the way. I actually count how many R2s I'm getting in. I count 10. If she backs up a lot, like in this instance, I'll get an extra 1 or 2 more. If you don't feel like counting, just feel free to build the meter up to its full. Once the meter gets full, swap back to the cleaver. Dash in 2 L1s, regen stamina, and use the fire paper. Then we're gonna do 3 R1s, charge R2, break, walk into her head, and then R1, L1. Now I messed up a little bit here, but that's okay. if you dealt enough damage, you can just throw Molotovs at her. This is why we actually bought Molotovs before Shadows. From a distance, she should only do this meteor move. So as long as you know, kind of watch out for that, relatively safe. So here she is dead. Took a few Molotov throws. If you mess up the script, feel free to also mark out for safety, right? If you're not comfortable. So here it is, me messing up, but she has way more HP. I know that she's not going to die to Molotov, so I just immediately mark out. There's nothing wrong with that. If you do mark out, all you have to do is run immediately to the fog wall. Yuri can't get to you fast enough. And since we opened that side door, it should be relatively quick and painless without any bugs following you. So now we're into Yahar'gul. Run down these stairs. A couple of enemies will spawn, but as long as you're not sticking around, they won't aggro to you. And we go off the side of the rail here. There's a Cold Blood 8. And then walk into the left side here, into the stairs. This guy will aggro or just continue pathing up to the stairs. We're waiting for him to get far enough up so that we can just run. And I'm going to take an elixir here at the top of these stairs. Run between these two guys who throw Molotovs. And then on the left side, this guy is a gunman. Run to his right. His gunshot will never hit us. And we just run forward. And then around here, there's some bolt paper that we can grab. Sometimes one of the guys on the bridge will follow us down here with an elixir. It's less likely to happen, but, you know, just wait there and make sure that it doesn't happen. So we drop down, hug the wall on the left. This stops a witch that's in the middle of the next area from activating. We take another elixir before these stairs. Once we get on the stairs, the pathing for the next group of enemies starts, and we want them to be in a good position so they get killed by the laser. I grab this chunk on the left here. Stop at this statue in order to regen a little bit of stamina. And then from here, we're going to start on the right side. And then once we're past these two on the left, we hard cut in front of these two that are getting killed by the laser. Now, the one in front will sometimes not get killed by the laser. Don't worry, you can path around her. I usually go left, but right is also pretty safe. Then we run down here. The witches from before can sometimes follow, but with elixir it should be fine. We kill this beast. 2 Molotovs into an R1 should kill it. Drop attack this gunman, and then R1 L1 should kill him. Sometimes he'll drop down, and then you can either extend the cleaver and R1 him, or you can shoot him. But if you drop, like I did, and kind of reposition yourself, he won't ever fall. So we grab this cold blood, throw a pungent to distract the dogs. Come over here, kill this maiden. I do R1 into 2 L1s, but there's a lot of different attack patterns that work for her. Once she's dead, these guys in the center will all be staggered, so we can just run right on through. Open this doorway and take a blue elixir at the top of the stairs. Here are 3 hunters. There's one on the stairs to your right. You want to make sure that you don't step on the stairs and activate him. And then we run on the right side of the room in order to not activate the other 2. So we run forward. There's some bolt paper and some chunks that we're going to grab. So run forward into this corner. Grab the chunks, and then we want to path around the backside of this undead. So he was turning anti-clockwise, so we followed with him. If he was turning the other way, we would be going on the other side. And we walk up to this part. I go into the center of the wheel. There is a weird meme where if you are running into the corner of the wagon, this enemy technically still has an active hitbox and can hit you. We go into the center, wait for him to stop, and then we can grab the chunks. We go around. I go to the backside of this wagon, and then from here, there's two ways to go. You can go left here and down the stairs. I'm not a huge fan of that, so I like to go up right. Hide here, wait for this dude's next gunshot, and then you can just run up. R1, 2 L1's dead. This next enemy, he's on an event trigger, so all you have to do is hug the wall and it'll never hit you. Take the elevator up. We're waiting for a platform. You can roll off or walk off. Throw a pungent for this dog that's here. Again, aim high so that he kind of is curious about it a little longer. And then we take this teleporter. So we could go run forward and continue on the way to when Reborn, but there's a nice blood gem over here to the side that we really want to grab. It's actually the best that we're going to grab in this run, so it's really worth it. We just wait for this beast to get along in its pathing. I wait for him to disappear behind the pillar, basically, walk forward, and then wait for him to kind of get on the bridge past the little statue pillar. Wait here for a gunshot from this guy, and then walk up R1 to L1s. We throw a pungent to distract another beast that's in front of the blood gem that we want. And then we run back up the stairs. Now, if you've been following this pathing, this beast should be far enough away to where he doesn't see us or aggro to us. And we can just run on through. And back the other way now. Onto when Reborn. This guy you don't need to worry about. We can just drop through. If you get a hard fall there, don't worry about it. It's not the biggest deal. Make sure that you're not standing around too long. And then I wait here, put on my buffs with bolt paper and beast blood pellet, and run forward. We want to beeline it to the stairs as quickly as possible. Regen stamina here. So we'll shoot off this first maiden. She's not going to throw any more fireballs while she's down there. We bait out and wait for a couple spits. R1, L1 should kill all of the rest of the maidens. So from here, it's all safe. Reborn's not going to spit for a while now. So as long as we continue on our path and don't stick around for too long, should be all safe. Reborn is a very consistent boss, but once some of that timing gets messed up, right, because you missed or took too long doing something, then he can start doing weird things. So I like to wait here at the top of the stairs. I wait for one spit, and then I start going down the stairs, buff, wait for the explosion. We want to make sure that the hand on the left picks up, because otherwise that means that he's not doing his scripted summon. R1, 3 L1s to the main body, go to the leg, R1, L1. I do one R1 to the main body, then R1s to the leg, finishing with a couple L1s. R1 charge R2 into an L1. R1s to the leg. Once it breaks, L1, and then we wait for stamina to regen, R1 to the main body. The attack pattern isn't super precise there. You'll get a feel for it. There is some optimum attack patterns there, but as long as you're not missing a lot, should be fine. Just make sure that you don't hit the main head on one Reborn, because then he can start summoning again and will hit you with his puke. The lecture hall is a relatively straightforward running section. We don't need to grab anything, don't need the lamp. I regen my stamina in this open space and then just run on the right straight to the door. Now we're in the nightmare. I have pungence equipped because we have this silver beast up here. I throw the pungent in this spot. It makes sure that the beast doesn't re-aggro to us once the pungent wears off, and we want that to happen because we're going to need to kill this madness here. If you have 3 Molotovs, use them here. Because we use so many for Rom, I had to attack the beast more than normal. But you can see in the back the silver beast isn't aggro to us. He just kind of goes to his original position. Grab this cold blood, and then we're going to do a level up and upgrade before Micolash. So here we go. Sell some of our stuff. We buy Molotovs. Full set of 10. Upgrade the cleaver. We should get to a +8. And then equip the blood gem that we got from Yahar'gul. This is a +18% damage. We grab the beast blood pellets that we had in excess. Buy some pungents. I buy the Gascoigne set here and I sell it for a couple extra echoes. It's not a ton of money, don't need it, but because I have the extra insight, might as well. And I forgot to pop all of my cold bloods here, so I get 34 strength. If you had been following along, you should be able to get, I believe, 37 if you popped all the cold bloods.
Farewell, good.
Those 3 levels aren't going to be a huge deal, though. So, if you forget, not the worst thing in the world. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this with 2 pungents. I would throw the first one here. I throw a little bit later, and you will see why that's a bad idea. It's an unfortunate attack that he did. It's not super common, but it is possible. Even with that bad RNG, though, he still didn't hit me. And then I throw the second one at this rock on the left. You can see, run right by. Silver Beast doesn't aggro. And from here, we just run up. You can run straight to the door, but we're actually going to go to the left here and grab a chunk on the side. This also de-aggroes a lot of these guys. So we're not having to deal with them at the door. So just wait there at the chunk until he turns around, and then we run on through. Now, he will aggro to us and can technically throw a boulder at the door. Doesn't usually happen, but just in case, I roll through. Go up the side path here. I grab this cold blood, not necessary, but right there. And then we drop off the bridge. There's a spider that can drop there. And there's another spider off to the side here next to the railing, so just be aware of those. Don't get too close to them. And they're still behind you, so you want to make sure that you're moving. Now it's time to deal with Edgar. I've run a little bit before this opening, and we just need to run straight into his right. He has 3 different moves he can do. You just run to his right and then kind of curve left a little bit and keep on running. Now we go over here. Don't get too close to any of the attendants. They can hit you. We'll grab blue elixir. We take one right now as we drop down. Go to the right of this pillar and we run on through. Make sure, like I said, not get too close to the attendants. Stop at this elevator because the attendant with a crossbow can sometimes shoot, and then we go on the inside again in case he shoots. Now we run up. There is a blood gem in a cage here, not really necessary. Grab the elevator in case we need to mark out for whatever reason. And then we set up all of our buffs and items for Micolash. So bolt paper, pellets. We're going to need some Molotovs for a beast. And then poison knives in case he gives us good RNG. Now there's 2 major ways to deal with Micolash. This first way is what I would consider the most typical. You run to the second set of stairs. You kill this first one. 2 R1s into an L1 as it's moving should kill it. Then, depending on where Miko went, you follow him until he's in the middle. For these puppets, wait until they're kind of stationary. They've just finished any moves, and then you can run on through. I've never been hit running through like that. Then we run into the center, kill this puppet just like the first one. He played dead, but then we still hit him afterward. Now Micolash went back to the spot in the corner, so we just have to aggro him again. He'll follow us into the hallway, and we wait here a little outside of the hallway, turn back around and lock onto him. At this point, we can shoot him into the corner if we walk forward into the doorway. He's trying to get away from us, but we've knocked him into a place where he can't move. So you buff. They'll usually do the noodle, and then you R1, 2 L1s, and then I walk into the doorway and just loop until he's dead. Now, here's another way that you can do this. Rather than going the second set of stairs at the beginning, you go to the first one and kill the puppet here. Now in the doorway, we throw poison knives. It takes 3 to poison Miko. But he'll walk forward into this room, or try to, but we're going to stop him. This whole time he's taking a little bit of tick damage. We buff. Charge R2. And then as he's walking away, we charge R2 again into a backstab. Now I messed up here, but you can visceral to kill him, or you can get another backstab and do a visceral. Even if you mess up though, we can just do like we did before. Get him in the corner. And it's safe. So choose what you like the most. Now phase 1 is done. We run towards the stairs. Majestic. Now we're gonna go left in order to try to get these chunks. So I stop at this 4th candle, and I'm on the left side of the stairs a little bit, kind of towards the middle, but a little left. We're gonna throw a Molotov, and we want to make sure that there's a clear line of sight for the beast. So we lock on, throw 3 Molotovs, and then R1. Really, you just need to throw the 1 in order to stop the beast, or you can try to run and catch it. Don't commit to it too hard. There are other chunks that I will show you how to grab in case you miss this one, and there are enemies down below. So go up and grab the blood vials in order to activate this guy, and then I like to come back down the stairs, bait out an attack from him and run past. This gives you a little bit extra wiggle room for this second attendant with a crossbow. You run into the corner. Once he fires, you run up the stairs. Now, Micolash for P2 has 2 different RNGs in this first position. There is a neat strat found by Soul Slayer where you can actually poison him on this first set of stairs without ever activating him. I'm not super comfortable with that, so you can find a link to that video below. He gave us the RNG where he runs forward. So we're going to do Mirror Cheese where we follow him. And we come down and drop into the room like normal. But he's not here yet. Instead, we can actually see him in the middle. We kill the 2 puppets here. If you shoot, you can knock down the puppets. And then we walk onto the side. Don't run, just walk. Kill the puppet in the room, and then we shoot Miko. He'll keep teleporting into this mirror. We R1, and we just loop this. He will constantly keep teleporting back through the mirror. And we have enough damage on our leveled character in order to kill him before the puppet in the room wakes up. Now, once he's dead, don't move. Any puppets that haven't activated yet and you walk next to can still activate, and they'll be alive even past the boss fight. So just wait until the cutscene activates and you're safe. Miko gave what is called the good RNG here. This is where we can poison knife him from above, and because we're getting headshots with the poison knives, it only takes 2 knives to poison him. There's a cold blood here, I grabbed that. But in case you didn't grab poison knives, right? There's another way to activate Mirror Cheese if you really just prefer that and you don't want to wait around for poison. So we run back down into the center room and force him to his next position. You kill this puppet like you did before, and you don't miss. And you run down. He should run to the next mirror. When that happens, you run back to the middle of the room immediately and try to catch him as he comes through the mirror. This starts the same loop that we had before. So now that the fight is over, cutscene has happened, we're safe to run through the area. I put on Pungence. And we grab the lamp. Don't forget to grab the lamp. That's very important. Dependent on the chunks that you want to grab, you can throw a pungent here to aggro these bird dogs. Grab the chunks here and it's completely safe. Run up the steps. You want to regen stamina, be full stamina at the top of the stairs before you start running. Past these 2 shadows. At these steps, you regen stamina, and at the top again, we run. Now there's another set of chunks here. If you don't need these chunks, you can just go up the stairs. There's 2 here, and then we wait for Fireball before going up the stairs. There is a way in the back. If you don't like running by the pigs and you don't need the blood gem that's by them, you can instead go down this left path. There's a beast with 3 chunks down there and a relatively straightforward path to Mergo's nurse. But instead, we're going to go here. We take a blue elixir. We shouldn't need to throw any pungents, but it's good to know that these pigs do get attracted to blood cocktails. So we grab that blood gem. With elixir, we can just run on through. Where these shadows are depends on how long it took you to get through the area. Because I grabbed a couple extra chunks, they actually saw me here. But depending on your pathing, they might never aggro to you. Now we go grab the shortcut, and we're going to do our final level up and weapon upgrade. I have the Bolt Hunter's marks to just mark out here. You want to make sure that you're off of the elevator. Otherwise, it will not count as actually having activated. In case you used a lot of Bolt Hunter's marks earlier in the run for whatever reason, like you had to mark out of ROM a couple times or something, you can just run to the lamp. You have to throw a blood cocktail here to distract the bird dogs and then just run on through. So here we go. Upgrade. Change out the blood gems. We can use all of our insight here. And you can sell any extra shards or chunks you might have, as well as Miko's cage that you got. Now here I realized that I had forgot to use all my cold bloods from before. You should have some now anyway if you picked up the ones I did.
Welcome. What? Very well.
I get to around 41 strength on this route.
Farewell. Good.
And then we run to Mergo. Don't need to do anything fancy here. We can just run on through. Get our buffs all situated. Now Mergo can get activated in a couple different ways. It's approaching this baby carrier. The wet nurse actually spawns on this sort of ring in the ground. You can approach from the side to force her to sidestep as her very first move, but sometimes it's a little scary because she can choose to do something else. So I would recommend approaching from the front, buff beforehand, and then the first thing you're going to do is walk away. Because sometimes she can instant lawnmower or meme you in some way. So you walk away and just try to be safe. So normally I fight nurse locked on. If you are curious on how I do that, you know, I have plenty of other runs that you can take a look at, but this is how I would say most people fight her, is unlocked. Just kind of want to play back a little bit. Try to bait out a couple of her moves. Roll in on this uppercut and do 2 L1s to build as much meteor as you can. You're going to skip Nightmare Phase here. Once you see the purple, you want to dodge twice. And that will skip her Nightmare Phase. Once you build enough meter, 3 R1s is going to be higher damage than an R1 L1. rebuff when you need to. Try to bait out an attack and then walk away from her when you want to rebuff. You can bait out this move. And R1, L1. When she teleports away, try to get to the edge of the arena so you can see where she teleports. You want to be on her side so that she sidesteps. So you don't want to attack from the front, because otherwise she can lawnmower. Try not to be too close in case she does some instant attack. Now she likes to do this when you're far away. You can just walk around it, but because of distance and how I was positioned, I decided to roll it. You can also strafe a lot of these attacks. The roll is more for safety than anything, and I would recommend you learn how to do it. But there's partners. And with that, the run is basically completed. If you're going for hitless speed runs and you want your time on the actual board, you have to go to the dream, talk to Gehrman, and then quit out at the beginning of the NG plus cycle. But other than that, the run's basically done. A lot of people will go and confirm the ending where you submit to Gehrman, but that is not totally necessary. There you go. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions on the run, then please let me know in the comments. I will try to answer as best as I can. Of course, there's the Team Hitless Discord where people are also available to answer questions. So I hope that your runs go well and that this has taught you something.